So, if Flipboard really prioritizes content that is less than 48 hours old, what about all that amazing content that we have on our websites that's evergreen, that's not outdated, that we want to share? Good morning. I want to walk you through my post polish Flipboard workflow. So, what is post polish? Post Polish is specifically for bloggers and content creators. It's a paid tool that was developed to help us to be able to freshen up our content specifically for Flipboard. Flipboard prioritizes fresh content, so anything that has been published 48 hours or more ago doesn't do as well on Flipboard as content that was published right now or a few hours ago. So it's important to understand that in trying to understand what purpose post polish plays in this whole Flipboard workflow and strategy. So if Flipboard really prioritizes content that is less than 48 hours old, what about all that amazing content that we have on our websites that's evergreen, that's not outdated, that we want to share? We can put the link on Flipboard, but it doesn't do as well as if you freshen up the link and have a new date. Unfortunately, even if you change the date or update it in WordPress, it's not going to reflect the new date in Flipboard. So post polish totally goes around this and creates a redirect for your blog post with a brand new date that you select. And at the same time, it allows you to change the title to something that's a little more click worthy rather than a boring SEO title that we have to write for Google. And also you can change the meta description, that paragraph that shows whenever someone is looking at a link. In addition to that, you can also change the photo. So if you want to try out a new photo on Flipboard, you can do that using post polish. If you are a publisher on Flipboard, you can also use their RSS feed feature. I'm not a publisher on Flipboard, so I don't have access to that. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you my workflow and what I do each day in order to freshen up links from my website of past blog posts and share them on Flipboard with better results than if I just shared them without post polish. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so here is where I start my process. I use Airtable to manage my blog's content. It's the sort of back end of my blog, and I have filtered my existing posts into a spreadsheet specifically for Flipboard, and I've added a column here to include a date when I last flipped this content, as well as which magazines I have put it in, and then notes, of course, is where I will put any specific titles that I'm using that I get from that I'm going to be using for post polish that are a little more clickable than an SEO title like 3-ingredient banana coconut walnut cookies. So this is where I start to find the content that I want to put onto post polish and then Flipboard. So let's do these cookies actually. So I'm going to tap on the link here to go to my website. I'm going to grab the link. This is post polish, and I'm going to import. So on the right, you see a preview of what my post would look like if I publish it right now on Flipboard. It looks a little bit different on Flipboard, but you can see this is the image, the featured image from my site. This is the SEO title, and this is the SEO meta description. So I can edit all of these in post polish. The way that I've been doing this to make it more clickable is by taking my title, copy it, and I'm putting it into an AI tool called Claude. I use ChatGPT for this as well, but I'm finding better results with Claude. So I am going to start a chat. This is the prompt that I use to ask it to create magazine headlines for me. And then I'm going to paste in the title of the blog post. Let's see here. You'll go nuts for these stupidly simple yet sinfully delicious cookies. Number 2 option is bakers who can count to 3. This cookie recipe is for you. Banana bread's cooler, crunchier cousin is here to ruin your beach body. Oh, goodness. Okay, let's give it a little bit more information and try again. So I'm going to grab the first paragraph from my blog post and I'm going to say rewrite the headlines with this additional information from the blog post recipe. Going cuckoo for coconut. These 3-ingredient vegan treats are bananas. Okay, I like that one. Sugar-free, butter-free, worry-free. The coconutty cookie you didn't know you needed. Flowers for chumps. Bake these wholesome 3-ingredient wonders instead. Okay, these are a little more in line with the recipe because the recipe is a healthy recipe. And so let's grab these 3. I'm going to copy them and then I'm going to go to Airtable into my notes. I'm going to paste in the 3 headlines that Claude gave me. And now I'm going to ask Claude to write an intro for me. Okay, it gave me, you're about to discover the simplest, healthiest cookie recipe you've ever conceived. Just 3 ingredients, 2 of which are likely sitting in your kitchen right now. And they're so delightfully crunchy and satisfying, you'll never guess they're vegan, gluten-free, and sugar-free. Okay, that'll work. I'm going to edit it a little bit though. Copy. Let's go back to Airtable. I'm going to paste it in. All right, so now that we're ready for that, I'm going to copy my edited version and we're going to go over to post polish. I'm going to put in the description here. We're going to go back and we're going to grab one of these titles. I like, I'm going to try the first one. Copy. Okay. And for the image, I mean, I kind of like that image. It's close up. Flipboard really likes images of food that are really close, like the ooey gooey hero shots that make you want to dive into it. That image is pretty good, I think. I can always use a different one if I want to republish this article on Flipboard next week or next month. So for now, we'll stick with that featured image. However, I could click here and then select a different image from my computer to change the image that displays on Flipboard. None of this changes anything to do with the actual post. So of course, you wouldn't want to use this to bait and switch anyone. We want to use this in an ethical way, right? So we're not trying to do clickbait where someone is clicking on the article to read something, but then when they get there, it's something completely different. So this is just a way of freshening up the content so that it appears to be new to the reader and they're more likely to click on it to see the recipe. That's the whole purpose of this, is to encourage people to click on it, to read the article on your website, to read the recipe and get that traffic. Below, you have to select an RSS feed. So I'm going to select recipes. And then you can schedule this post for later. Whatever time you select here is when the time on Flipboard will show. So for example, if I generate the link right now without scheduling it for later, it will show on Flipboard that this post was published right now. If I schedule it for tomorrow, then I can't publish this post polish link until tomorrow. And then when I publish it tomorrow after the time that I've selected, it will show the scheduled time as the published date for this post. It needs to be published that day that you've published it so that it's when it goes on Flipboard, it's new and fresh and the time doesn't show that it's already outdated. Okay, so I'm not going to schedule this. I'm going to just generate the link. And then it appears at the top here and I'm going to tap this and it'll copy it to my clipboard. So once it does that, I'm going to go over to Flipboard and I'm going to go to one of my magazines. This is a cookie. I'm going to put it here in my vegan recipe magazine. Flipboard is a little slow, guys, and glitchy at times, but we love it. And please excuse my voice. I have a bit of a cold I'm recovering from. Okay, so I'm in my magazine and now I'm going to add that post. Remember, I copied it in Post Polish. I'm not going to add a caption or anything. I tap on the little link at the bottom and then I paste in the Post Polish link. It'll give you a preview of your flip. And you'll see that it has the new title that we added. Click add. Down here, you can see it flip successfully. And then just a second, we will see it pop up here on the left. If it doesn't, refresh the screen. There it is. Okay, you can see the new description here, the new title, and our picture looks great. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And you see this little button here. I'm going to tap it. And then I'm going to copy the flip link. And I'm going to add that to Slack. I have a few groups that I'm a part of. There's also Facebook groups where you can add your flips and flip other people's content, and then they'll flip yours. So it just kind of helps to give that article a little bit of traction when you publish it. But make sure and do that immediately. You don't want to delay in getting those flips started. Okay. Because again, this is something that is sort of like Twitter. It doesn't have a very long lifespan, but it can drive a lot of traffic to your site. I am going to show you what I do after I've done that, because you notice I only flipped it into one magazine. I also want to flip this content into some group magazines that have a lot more followers than my current magazine has. But I don't want to do that all at once, because that can appear very spammy and it can inundate my readers' Flipboard, and I don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a reminder for myself with the magazines that I want to put this content into, and then I can do that over the course of the next hour or two, slowly, one at a time, so that it gets into all those group magazines to help it get some traction, but it doesn't spam my readers. Okay. So first of all, let me grab this Post Polish link again and go back to Airtable, because I like to put this in here so that I can keep track of it. I also need to select which Flipboard magazines I want to put it into. So right now I have put it into Very Best Vegan and Plant-Based Recipes. I created a Airtable sheet just for all the Flipboard magazines that I'm in, my personal magazines as well as my group magazines. So that's what this information is pulling from. So this is a cookie recipe. So I also want to put it into this cookie magazine. Okay, and then this is a big magazine, so let's put it there. Food and drink, desserts. And then lastly, I do like to put it into my my main magazine that has all my content. So this is 6 magazines, but again, I'm not going to publish and put it into all of these at once. I'm going to drip that content in over the next few hours. So let me open up my reminders. Okay, so this is what I'm going to remind myself about. Flip coconut cookies from Very Best Vegan and Plant-Based Recipes. This is so I remember which magazine I put it in. Sometimes I forget. 2, C is for cookie, then Flipboard user group, then Food and Drink Insiders, then Divine Dessert Delights, then Very Veganish. Okay, now it's 10:51 right now. I am going to remind myself at 11 to do the first one. So that's in 10 minutes. It's okay for it to be like 15, 20 minutes in between. I just don't want to do it back to back. So That's what I do. That's my process. So now in Airtable, I'm going to make sure and put today's date for the day that I flipped this. And you'll see it in the background moving because I have this column set up to sort by the content that has not been shared so that I can see at the top the content that hasn't been shared yet to Flipboard. I just want to show you the difference between a post that is flipped using a post polish link that's been edited to just using the link from my website. Here we can see on the left, this is the post polish link that we just posted, and with our new title, new meta description, and you could see right here that it says now. So you'll notice on this other post, it says 2 hours ago, and on this one, it says January 5th, 2023. So that's what it's going to look like if I try to publish straight from my website. I'm going to show you how it looks. So I'm going to go to a different magazine, add to magazine, then I'm going to paste in the actual URL from my website and hit add. So while the picture is the same, you will notice that it looks different. So here, instead of it saying now or 1 day ago, like this post, it says January 9th, 2023, which is when I actually published this post. You'll also notice that it has the general SEO title and then the meta description from my website, the first paragraph. I'm going to leave this here and just see what it does. But almost always, whenever I've posted a post polish link versus when I shared the link from my website, the post polish link does incredibly better. So there's something about the Flipboard algorithm as well as the Flipboard users that they really prefer brand new, hot off the press content. Whenever you have a lot of evergreen content on your website, like recipes, this recipe doesn't go out of style. It's not like a news article about a storm that happened this morning, right? It comes in really handy to just freshen it up for this platform so that it can get into the hands and the eyes of the readers that I want it to get to. Okay, so I hope that you loved that. I hope it was helpful to you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. In the description below, you'll see information about post polish. Again, I hope this was helpful, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.